This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news of the business of podcasting, brought to you by Spreaker from iHeart. I'm Gavin Gaddis. Before we get started, we want to quickly shout out the Keep Optimizing podcast with Chloe Thomas and her recent episode interviewing Sounds Profitable's very own Tom Webster.
The audiences for each of these individual smaller podcasts are more passionate, they're more connected with the host. The host is really dialed into what the audience is looking for, and the conversion on those things, especially for direct response marketing, is much, much, much higher.
Catch the podcast on the usual suspects or directly at keepoptimizing.com. Now, here's what you need to know for today, Thursday, June 20th. First up, podcast advertising delivers 4.9 times ROI and outperforms traditional media, according to new study. Acast has published a new story produced with OMD looking at the effectiveness of podcast advertising when it comes to brand building and driving sales. The study analyzed Swedish advertising campaigns from 6 industries and 32 different advertisers. Of the industries included, podcasting provided the highest short-term return on ad spend with 4.2 times, as well as the highest long-term ROAS of 4.9 times, compared to the average media return on investment of 3.7 times. Next up, more data. Rajar Midas support, spring 2024 coverage by Adam Bowie. The latest Midas report on UK audio consumption has been published by Rajar, built from the results of 2,143 respondents aged 15 and up, who kept a 7-day audio diary. Live radio has a firm foothold in share of audio listening time in the UK, with 70% of all adults, while on-demand music takes second place at 15%, and podcasts in third with 6%, or 13% if you just count the 15 to 24 demographic. 21% of UK podcast listening adults spend an average of 7 hours a week listening to them, with 94% of those hours spent listening alone. Next up, we have correspondence from Cannes. This is a roundup of Cannes Lions International Festival of Creativity coverage. It's currently underway in France and generating a lot of articles. Before the event kicked off, Marketing Brew covered what influencers were expecting from this year's event. Digiday dug into why influencers are drawing attention at the event and how investment bankers and private equity are quote-unquote here to hunt. Variety and Canva's executive interview studio at the event covered several executives across streaming, podcasting, and content creation. And finally, Priceline, Coca-Cola shift ad dollars as influencers launch their own brands. While TV ad campaigns still get a significantly higher percentage of money, influencer marketing spending has steadily increased since 2015, according to eMarketer data. As mentioned above, creators are making a splash at Cannes, with this being the first year influencers get a dedicated space in specially priced tickets. Also, this is the first year for a formal creator upfront. Brands are recognizing the power of influencer marketing to run successful campaigns, all of which bodes well for podcasting, as podcast marketing is influencer marketing. As for the rest of the news, on Tuesday, June 25th, a webinar titled Unveiling New Tactics for Smarter Podcast Ads will feature Pete Jimison from Frequency, Brian Barletta of Sounds Profitable, Tamara Zubati from Barometer, and Emma Raz from Number 8. Backbeat Media has partnered with Changelog Media. Commercial Radio and Audio is set to host the Audio Edge in Melbourne on July 18th. Atomic Entertainment brings on Nick Kastner as Director of Marketing, and Digiday shares top takeaways from the Digiday Podcast Creator Series. And don't forget to check out the newsletter version of today's episode to catch the research snapshot featuring Triton Digital's U.S. podcast ranker for May of 2024. Be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version. The Download is written and produced by myself, Newton Shadolkati, and Brian Barletta. This episode is hosted on Spreaker. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis. Download us again tomorrow.